Hi everyone, happy Sunday. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of STEM Sundays with Emily. Today we have a really cool activity. I think it's very hands-on and one of those activities that once you build will be able to be used again and again and again. So what we're going to be building today is a catapult. And I think most people are familiar with catapults when they think of the Middle Ages or, centuries ago when they were used during battle or war to hopefully defeat their opponent. And a catapult launches an object from where you are far, far away, and again was used for war or battle, but can be used for a variety of reasons. And today we're going to use ours as a toy. So just a few materials we're going to be using today. First, we have popsicle sticks. I was able to find this fun little craft pack of assorted colors, and you could use any sort, whether it's your plain wooden uncolored popsicle stick, or if you have jumbo popsicle sticks. I just liked the color of these. If you know me and you've seen my videos, I like to be a little bit creative, so I found these fun colored popsicle sticks, but any kind you might have at your house will do just perfect. Next, you're going to need some rubber bands. I'm actually going to be using these mini hair elastics, which is kind of a random thing, but I found for this project, after doing it a few times at home, that these work better than rubber bands just because they're a little bit smaller, and since our catapult is on the smaller scale, rubber bands will do just fine, but you're gonna have to wrap them around a lot more times than you will with these mini hair rubber bands. So I'll show you. I actually have these at my house from when I used to dance, but they're just a small, you can barely see it, very small, thin elastic that for this activity is perfect. But again, if you have just plain rubber bands laying around at your home or at school, those will be just fine. Next, this is something I did before filming today, and you might want to do that if you're doing this activity with students or your children at home. You're going to need just one of the popsicle sticks from your bag and a bottle cap, from water, from soda, from juice. Any type will work, any size will work. But you're going to need a hot glue gun or tacky glue, something to secure it to the top of this popsicle stick. So as you can see, I took a water bottle cap and hot glued it to the very top of this popsicle stick. This is definitely something I'd encourage an adult to do, probably not students or children, especially if you're using hot glue. Hot glue is going to dry almost immediately on here, so you can do this activity almost instantly once this is glued on. If you decide to use tacky glue, you're gonna have to wait a couple hours, maybe even overnight, for that to really harden and be secure on here. But like I said, any kind will do, just depends on how soon after doing that you want to do this activity. And with tacky glue, you might be able to let children do it on their own, but there is gonna be that wait time. But you're gonna need a popsicle stick, cap, bottle top, and some sort of glue to attach it. And lastly, this has been bumping on my sleeve, but as you can see, just something to launch. So you want something that will fit into the cap of whatever you decide to choose. That's going to be the best way that we can launch it, but anything to launch. So similar to our winch project when we had to find different objects to put in our basket, just go around your house or your classroom and find something or a few things you might want to launch with your catapult. I used this white pom-pom that I found my cats playing with at my house, but anything will do. So we just have a few materials, and let's get into building now. So I actually got a 2-pack of these. I put the other pack in this Ziploc baggie, so I'm gonna keep this for hopefully future projects on here and use the popsicle sticks that I have here in my bag. So you're going to need 7 popsicle sticks. So I'll be using different colors for each of the components of the catapult. Again, feel free to use, if you have colored ones, great. If you don't have colored ones, totally fine. But I think for demonstrating how this goes together, a different color for each component will help get the catapult built a little bit easier and for you guys to understand which piece I'm talking to. So I'm going to take, for starters, 5 popsicle sticks. 5 popsicle sticks here. I'm gonna use yellow, And we're going to take 2 of our elastics or 2 rubber bands and just rubber band the very ends so that instead of them all being loose, they'll be tied together as one. And this will become our base for our catapult. So for this activity, I think it's a really fun idea and something you might want to replicate, do over and over again. And one of the things with the catapult is that the higher or lower you make this base is going to change the angle of your catapult. So if you want to try, after doing this a couple times, maybe building one with 8 layers for your base, 8 popsicle sticks for your base, maybe 3, change it up, see how your catapults are different because they will launch differently depending on your base thickness. And as you can see, I'm just adding these elastics to the end. It's only taking me about 3 times around with the mini elastics. With the rubber band, it might take you 6 or 7, depending on how big they are. But as you can see, my 2 elastics created my base. So that's our base for the catapult. Next, we're going to take 1 regular popsicle stick and the popsicle stick with the lid glued on top. Those will be the last 2 pieces. So once you have your base, depending on how big you want it, for this example we used 5, but if you make it higher or lower, doesn't matter. After that, you're only going to need 2 more popsicle sticks, 1 plain and the one with the bottle cap on top. So now to get these secured onto our base, we're going to take 2 elastics. I'll try and use contrasting colors so you guys can see in the video. And we're going to place them on our base and make the shape of an X right in the middle. So there's one I've put on there. Once I get the other one on, I'll show it up closer to the camera so you guys can see what I mean. We're going to crisscross them right in the middle and make an X. Here we go. Okay, hopefully you guys can see. So we've got 2 rubber bands crisscrossed right in the middle to make an X. And now what we're going to do is take our 1 plain popsicle stick and thread it through the X so that the X is now on top of the regular popsicle stick, in this case green. So we're going to pick up the rubber bands at the middle where they cross and shove the popsicle stick through the center so that the rubber bands are on the outside of our new popsicle stick. I'll show you guys what I mean. So there we go. So now we've stuck the popsicle stick through. Now we have the shape of a lowercase t, and you can see the X is now on the green popsicle stick. So you take your popsicle stick and shove it through the bottom of the X all the way through to the top, and you're going to want to leave about 1/4 or so of the plain popsicle stick, this new popsicle stick, about 1/4 or so hanging off the top and the rest on the bottom so that we make this cross shape or lowercase t shape. Now we're going to do the same thing with our launcher popsicle stick, we'll call it, with the cap on it. And we're going to do the same thing, and we want the cap to be on the long side. So we want this cap to be on top of our base. The long side should be where the cap is. We don't want it on the short side. And I'll show you guys. So we'll take it again, take our popsicle stick through the X, 1/4 hanging off the end. There we go. So I've used purple elastics on a purple toothpick, or popsicle stick. I'm sure I've said toothpick a few times. You know I mean popsicle stick. So now we have our popsicle stick, our launcher popsicle stick, through the X elastics, about 1/4 hanging off the end, and the cap side is hanging off this side with about 3/4 of the toothpick showing. Toothpick, oh my gosh, popsicle stick. Geez, they're very different. So one last thing, now that we have this set up, we're going to probably 2 elastics just to really secure this. And now we have our toothpicks, they're parallel at this point. We're going to add rubber bands so that we now have a V shape here. And we want our launcher popsicle stick to be on top and the other is on the bottom with the base here in the middle. So I'm going to take 2 elastics and wrap them around this end to secure our popsicle sticks and make that nice V shape. Here we go. So in this case, a rubber band actually might work really well because they're a little bit thicker than the elastic, a little bit heavier, and you might not need to use as many of the little elastics, but still you only need to wrap them around just a few times. Ooh. There we go. Perfect. All right, so as you can see, we have our V shape here from all angles. And this, we have now built our catapult. So now, the only thing left to do is get your launching item, whatever object you have decided to launch, stick it in the lid, and you want to hold down at least one of the sides of the base. It might be a cool idea to have a buddy or a friend help you to hold down the base, and then that way you're going to take, your friend can hold the base down and you'll be able to be the one to pull down on the catapult to actually launch it. So we want to make sure that we have a secure base here, and then the way a catapult works is you bend down on this top part or launch your popsicle stick. Now the energy stored in the elastics is going to translate to the energy used to launch your object. So I only have one of these, so hopefully we can see this in action. You're going to take this. I'm going to be pushing down on the cap actually. So you're going to hold down on your base with one hand or have a friend help you. Push down on the cap and ready, 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, I wish I had a camera launched that way so you could see how far it went. But I'm here in my conference room. I've got about a 4-foot table in front of me, then my camera, and then about another 4 feet to a window. And the pom-pom went actually past the table and is sitting on the ledge of the window. So it actually launched very far and quite high considering where we're starting. So I wish I had more objects to launch. I probably should have grabbed a few just to show again, but hopefully yours worked just as well as ours did here on camera. And I encourage you again to find other objects to launch, play around with the height of your base, because that will change up the angle of your catapult. If you have less toothpicks, your V will be closer together. And if you have more popsicle sticks, I said toothpicks again, if you have more popsicle sticks, it will make this V higher. So you're at a higher starting point. If you have less popsicle sticks, you're at a lower starting point. And again, you can change up the size of your lid, whether you use like a juice lid that may be a little bit bigger. You can get a bigger object to launch. There are a lot of ways you can change up this activity to get different results. So I encourage you to play around at home or in your classroom and see how many different types you can come up with and see which catapult launches the highest, which one launches the farthest. It's just a fun activity, very minimal changes to create very drastic results. So here's our catapult today. I hope you guys had fun. Next week, since it's already somehow the last week of February, we'll be doing snap circuits, so 2 more activities using the snap circuits kit. I hope you guys are having fun with this. I love the snap circuits, and we'll be doing some other fun activities now that we have a little bit of base understanding and knowledge with the kit. So that's our activity for today. I hope you guys had fun. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you guys next week with snap circuits. Bye guys.